And welcome back to the McKinnis Farm. I'm Sarah Fishel and I'm out looking for persimmons. We've had our first frost already, and so the persimmons are starting to get ripe. And I found two really nice trees here, so I'm going to try to shake some of these persimmons off the tree. Come on down here, persimmon. Oh, we got some. And so we'll collect them up. Now the persimmons need to be really soft and mushy, because if they're not, they'll make you pucker when you go to eat them. And I'm really anxious to make some persimmon pudding, so let's go ahead and collect these up here. It's going to take several. Let's see. There's another one there. So if I don't collect them really quickly, the deer will be out here, because I'm not the only one that likes persimmon pudding or persimmons. The deer and the wild animals love it too. So join me in the kitchen a little bit and we'll make some persimmon pudding. All right, we're here in the kitchen now and we have our persimmons all gathered and we are ready to make some persimmon pudding. Now the persimmons need to be really squishy soft, and like you can see, this one is just super squishy. If you don't have these super squishy, then they will be very pithy and tart tasting. So you want them as ripe as possible. If you collect a few that aren't quite ripe, just set them in a pan, and within a week they'll ripen up to the sweetness that you would like. So we have to stem our persimmons first, and so we're going to take all the stems off and we're going to place them in the sieve. You need to place them in the sieve in order to get all the seeds out. You want only the persimmon pulp to make persimmon pudding. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to squish these. I've got a sieve here. I've got a wooden press, and so I'm going to press all of these persimmons and squish all the pulp out, separating the pulp from the seed and the skin. And you can see it coming out the sieve. This is a very nice sieve, and we'll keep adding. We need about 2 cups of persimmon pulp in order to make our persimmon pudding. And I have already collected and put through the sieve 2 cups of persimmon also. Once it collects on the side, we're just going to scrape it off into our bowl like this. And at one point, you may even want to take your spoon down into the sieve to get a little of the extra pulp out that might be collecting around the side. But once that is done, then we're going to take the pulp, and you can see how beautiful orange this is, and it smells really sweet. And we're going to put that 2 cups of pulp in a bigger bowl here, and then we're going to add buttermilk, butter, sugar, nutmeg, cinnamon, baking soda, and eggs and flour to our mixture. So we're going to go ahead and we'll add in the milk next. And this is buttermilk. This is a 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk. And we're going to stir that around. Get that nice and worked in there. Oops, a little bit of slopping never hurts anything. So it won't ruin my recipe either. So let's add the sugar. There's 2 cups of sugar in here. That's for the sweet tooth in the family. And then we have 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Add that in. Teaspoon of nutmeg. Teaspoon of cinnamon. Half a teaspoon of salt. And a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm going to stir that up, and then last I add the eggs. Get this all stirred around here really well. See, working in that cinnamon. It just gives you a little extra flavor, the cinnamon and nutmeg. You don't have to add cinnamon and nutmeg if you don't wish, but it does add a little extra flavor to it. Now we're going to put in our 3 eggs. And I'm going to crack them in our bowl that we have here. That way I can make sure I don't get any eggshells in my persimmon pudding. Put those in. And then the last one. And of course the chickens are laying really well. I have white leghorns that lay the white eggs, and then I have the red chickens that lay the brown eggs. So I have two colors of eggs here. It doesn't make any difference. The yolks are still very, very bright orange because those free-range chickens, they collect a lot of sunshine and makes their eggs even brighter. So get this all mixed up. And then we're going to place this in a 9x13 greased pan. It's going to bake for 1 hour in the oven. That's about, it can be between 300 and 350 degrees. If you can hold your hand in that wood stove for about 30 seconds, your temperature should be just about right. So that's all mixed up really well there. So got my pan already greased, and we're going to place it in there. Now this makes a really great Thanksgiving dish. Persimmons ripen the last week of October, first week of November is a great time to collect your persimmons after you've had a really heavy frost. So, and we had that yesterday, so we've got that all mixed in there. Looks good. Set this back over here, and we're ready to place our persimmon pudding in the oven. I've got some water heating on the stove, because once our persimmon pudding is done, we'll put a light sugar glaze on it, and that takes a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 2 cups of sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on, and we'll let that boil. And that way, when our persimmon pudding is done, we can pour that over it, and then put it back in the oven and bake it for a few more minutes. And then we'll have a delicious persimmon pudding to serve to the family. Now, I do have some that I cooked yesterday, and this is what it will look like. So I hope your family gets a chance to make some persimmon pudding and that you enjoy.